Welcome back to unpaidmoviecritics.com. I am Mike from MikeTheFanboy.com, which you can check out at MikeTheFanboy.com. And I'm here with the illustrious, the woman who said penguins should constantly mate, the woman who said, I want to be a dancer. So she created an entire symphony and an entire dance based on the musings of Tim Burton's brother, Miss Becky, Week99er.com, Fix All.
Wow. Someday, if Michael writes a book, we know not to believe a single word of anything he writes. That's all I've got. You've come up with the most interesting introductions every time. And I think only one of them was accurate.
Well, that's the whole idea, is trying to figure out what's accurate and what isn't.
Yes.
And most of them aren't.
Yes, but I think even the one that was accurate, you didn't intend it to be. So
Probably not.
probably not.
But the one that was accurate, ironically, was that you made a symphony and a dance based on the works of Tim Burton's brother.
Does Tim Burton have a brother?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. So how are you been, Mike? Anything new happening?
Good. Well, it's FYC season, and we're just wrapping up movie season, starting TV season, and Oscars are this weekend. So
Yes.
wow, it's really interesting. Probably by the time this airs, it'll be over. But I think we should go into some predictions. I think that'd be kind of fun to see what we're right and what we're wrong about. I think I don't know. I kind of think that each of the main categories are sort of locked up. So I think we're going to be curious to see what's going on.
Right. So, by the time this airs, everybody will listen and know if we're wrong.
Right.
Know that we're wrong. But again, we've said before, whoever does the awards, it's not usually the common person's vote anyhow.
Right.
So
Well, that's one thing. Oscars are not for the layman. Their Oscars are for people in the industry that have a huge body of work, who are supposed to be the people who know the best films or the most high quality films. Doesn't always work out that way.
right.
But that's kind of the idea of the Oscars. It's very difficult to get into the Academy. They've made it very hard to get in, and for they want to keep their membership to a certain degree. And there's been a lot of controversies about the membership, what they're trying to do. Even this year's award ceremony, there's so much happening with, we're going to pre-tape some things so that we can edit it and make it not as long.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. Because they're going to do a lot of the below the line categories, and then while they'll be shown during the ceremony this year, they're not going to be live like they once were.
Which I kind of understand, especially in this kind of COVID world.
It has nothing to do with COVID. It has everything to do with ratings.
Oh, well, fair. Okay.
Because the Oscars keep, and here's the thing, it's like people are interested but if there's not a movie that they love in the race, then no one really cares. And that's this year, like, none of these movies have really been huge blockbuster hits. There was talk that Spider-Man No Way Home could get a nomination, and that didn't happen. Same thing that happened when Dark Knight was out. They thought, that might get a nomination. That didn't happen. So they're trying to figure out ways to goose the ratings, like, the People's Choice winner thingy that they're trying to do. It's like, the Oscars are stuffy. That's just what they are.
And it's not the People's Choice. That's the
People's Choice Awards.
Right. Honestly, that's right in the name. But even like, it doesn't matter that some of these movies didn't make huge at the box office. It's just what these people on the Academy, what they like, what they think works. And even our voting doesn't matter towards it. So,
no, because you're the Television Critics Society of Detroit.
Detroit Film Critics Society, sir.
Same thing.
Anyway, and they have their special events happening, I think, next Wednesday here locally for the or maybe it was this past week. I don't know. I haven't paid attention for the awards and all that. So they have events happening over the next couple weeks, at least, I think.
Yeah, I think, and it's interesting. So let's start with Best Adapted Screenplay. I think out of everyone nominated, and if you want to pull up the nominations, we can do that. But
Best Adapted Screenplay, yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So what I personally, we'll go through the nominees, and I'll tell you who I think will win.
Okay, so it's Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, The Lost Daughter, and The Power of the Dog.
And I'm going to say Coda is going to take it.
I really hope so. Okay, so as much as I was not a fan of Power of the Dog, There is a charity out there. Every time it is mentioned during the award ceremony, they're going to donate towards like pet charities. So I like that, but I mean, I don't know if they've actually watched the movie and know what it's about, and it has nothing
I
really,
don't think they have.
it has nothing to do with dogs, but
No.
because they're mentioning dogs, they're giving back. So I like that, but I wasn't a fan of the movie and I don't know that it should win, but you know.
Well, and I think, when you're talking about adapted screenplay, I think Coda has momentum right now. I think it's a feel-good film, and I think it's going to do tremendously well, actually. And it's the little sleeper movie that could.
Right. I hope gets a lot of awards. I mean, it's up for that one and how many others?
Is up for Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor.
Correct. So it can get technically 3 awards.
Yeah, well, maybe 4, maybe one of the below the line.
Mm.
I'm not
It only
100%.
came up 3 times when I searched it. So
Okay, so maybe it is 3.
yeah.
But I definitely think that this is the one of the categories that they're gonna give it to, and I think it's deserved. It's a great script. It really had a great flow.
It's different.
And it's very different. Each of the characters were very well defined, and I loved the movie. I thought it was outstanding. So I'm really pulling for it in this category, and others too, obviously. But my vote is for Coda. What are you gonna say, Becky?
Of the list, that would be my vote as well, because Dune I was not a fan of, and I didn't want to see The Lost Daughter. I hear good things about it, but I saw a really weird part of it, and that was enough. And then Power of the Dog, and I didn't see Drive My Car. So
I didn't see Drive My Car yet. I hear it's really good and really quirky and different. But
there's this line with quirky and different. I mean, certain people love them, but if it's too far left, it's too far in the outfield, then yeah, I don't know.
So I think Coda should win, and I think Coda will win.
I hope so.
That's my guess. Best original screenplay, if you would like to read those categories.
Yes, we have Belfast, Don't Look Up, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, and The Worst Person in the World.
And here's an interesting category. I think Belfast is going to take it, and I'm going to say that because it's not going to win anything else.
Did you guys watch that? Did you watch Belfast finally?
It's on my computer.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to get something.
Yeah.
And this is the category they can actually give it something. Licorice Pizza, which also would probably be as close to neck and neck with that for the same reason. I didn't like it at all.
The premise was alone for me, or was bad enough for me to not want to see it.
Yeah.
And you did or did not like Don't Look Up, because I really enjoyed it.
I didn't like it. I thought it was very similar to other Adam McKay films that were better. And the tone was the exact same. I didn't care about any of the characters, and I thought that was probably a choice, but I know what he was trying to do. I just didn't care.
Fair.
And I thought his work was stronger in Wolf of Wall Street and Vice than this one. It's like a steady decline. And while he had a great cast, I think he wrote Jennifer Lawrence to Jennifer Lawrence. It didn't grab me. And I don't like, I don't think it was a bad script, but if you wrote that movie, I think it would never get made.
Thank you. I think.
Well,
I understand. My name doesn't have the clout
of the industry. It doesn't have the clout. It wasn't as powerful. The same thing goes with Licorice Pizza, really, for that matter.
Right.
If I wrote that script, my friends would literally have ripped me a new asshole.
And I still want to know how that one got cleared. I mean, just here, write a script, whatever you want, we'll make it. We don't care. It's basically what happened.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you have a director like Paul Thomas Anderson, who has, Magnolia and Boogie Nights and, There'll Be Blood. They were like, oh yeah, you want to do something? Great, do it. And that's kind of what this felt like. And I know there are some people out there that love this movie. I just didn't. And I actively was very disappointed when I saw it. I didn't think it was a love letter to the Valley. It was filmed like walking distance all throughout my house, and I still felt like it did the whole thing a disservice. Like I
So
was kind of turned off by it.
what about King Richard? I liked the movie. I still think those little girls outshined Will Smith at
Right.
every turn. You know, they carried the movie. I know he's the big name that people are going to see, and you know that it was the Venus and Serena story, but
Yeah.
it was a decent story even for a sports movie.
Well, that's it. It's a decent story. Is it really?
Is it award-winning?
Is it the movie that you liked, or is it Will Smith that we liked? And is it the acting that we liked over the script that we liked? You know what I'm saying?
I do. And him, and I know he always gets snubbed, but I don't think this was his strongest role. He played their father well, who was and still portrays himself as a bit of a crazy person. But I don't think that was an award-winning performance.
Well, that's performance. You're talking about the script right now. So
well, I know the script.
So when you look at literally the plot and the characters and what's on the page, I don't feel like it was as strong.
No, it's not as strong as some of the others, but I also don't think Belfast was either. It's an interesting pocket of time, but it was also a very top level kind of glossed over version of what was happening in Belfast in that period. So
what would be your vote then out of that category? Who do you think will win and who do you think should win?
Should win?
Mm-hmm.
Probably Belfast.
Uh-huh.
Will win? I probably think Don't Look Up, because so many people, it's so controversial. And I think that they're going to go that way.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I think you're completely wrong. But
you always think I'm completely wrong. So
I think Belfast is going to take it. I think it should take it. I think this is the category that script is going to shine. And I think it's, again, if they're going to if it's not going to get anything else.
I mean, it's got 7 nominations.
Yeah, but none of those are really going to materialize, unfortunately, for the film.
That's true. It might get like best original song. Not that any of us remember it. Honestly, that's going to go to
Morrison isn't even playing the song at the Oscars. So
yeah,
you know,
it's going to go to Encanto because it's the one that keeps getting stuck in everybody's head.
Okay, let's go to original song because that's actually interesting. Go read off the nominees if you don't mind.
Sure. We have Be Alive from King Richard, Dos Orguitos from Encanto.
Dos Orguitos.
I took German, sorry. Down to Joy from Belfast. What?
German.
I did for 5 years. No Time to Die from No Time to Die. We have Somehow You Do from 4 Good Days.
All right. So. Hey, honestly, okay, so I think this is interesting. I don't like Billie Eilish. I think all of her songs sound exactly the same, and I'm over her. But I do think that the song from No Time to Die is going to take it.
Really?
Well, if Encanto did one thing, and it's interesting. I'm not really if it did Bruno, if Bruno was there.
Mm-hmm. Or Under Pressure. Yep.
Right. But they didn't nominate it.
No, because they did that with another one that they screwed it up and they put the wrong one up. And it's only wrong because they predicted which one would be more popular.
Right.
The one that they have up as their best original song, it reminds me, and I understand it's, similar Latin base, but it reminds me so much of music from Coco. And I think they were leaning on that it would be that recognition.
Yeah.
I've played the soundtrack several times while working, and I'm like, this one always reminds me of Coco. But
I don't remember that song specifically. I've seen the film. I just don't remember.
Yeah, and that's it. It's not like Bruno or Under Pressure that you can remember what's happening during those songs.
Right. Well, Bruno isn't that great of a song. It just became.
It's an earworm. Yeah.
It just popped. We don't talk about Bruno. No. I mean, it's fun. Like I can see why people like it.
Right.
It's not the best song, but it's fun. And Disney really did miss the boat. They didn't. Who would have ever thought?
Right. Honestly, the Under Pressure one where the sisters lifting the boulders and stuff.
Yeah.
That one is the best song, honestly. To
I
me,
enjoyed that song actually.
a lot of women especially relate to that song. So
Right. I totally could see that. I mean, especially that. Which one is it? Do you remember what song this one was, or what they played, what part they played it in?
no, and that's the thing. I don't. I hear it. What is it? Song by Sebastian Yatra. I think it's their the wedding song, because the image that pulls up is, it looks like the grandparents holding the candle at a wedding or something. I'm not gonna
Oh,
play it.
right,
It's
right, right.
copyrighted, but yeah, I don't, it's a nice song even in English, but it doesn't stick with me what it's from.
Right. 100%. So I think in this category, I think Billie Eilish is going to take it. I think Encanto should, just for the sake of it being Encanto. But here's the interesting thing, and why Encanto could take it is because all of these voters have kids, and I'm sure they played it incessantly, that movie.
Uh-huh.
So voting just for the film, maybe not the song itself, but the songs, all of the songs from the film. Like their kids could be like, "Dad, you got to vote for Encanto." You know what I mean? Like,
Well, and also, like, I mean,
that's
other than No Time to Die, which obviously we know what one that is because it's from, the opening credits and it's the movie and all of that.
and it was a
The
hit.
other
Like,
ones are recognizable.
no, and it's like, gone are a lot of the days when you had a lot of songs from films that were so like iconic and popular, like 9 to 5, and Man in Motion for St. Elmo's Fire. I mean, there's so many Flashdance.
I mean,
Cherries.
J-Lo was trying it with her Marry Me one. Like, she's got 2 or 3 songs from that soundtrack that are trending right now, and one is the Marry Me song, and I'm just like, whatever. But that one, she's trying that. But again, is that something that's more like 80s and 90s movies than it is like current day movies? You don't see that as often.
I miss that though. I have to tell you, I think it's kind of nice to have a song associated with the film. Like when you think of Pretty Woman, you know what I mean? There are many songs in that soundtrack that pop into mind. King of Wishful Thinking, It Must Have Been Love by Roxette, even though that wasn't written for the film. But then Moulin Rouge, right?
Right.
Come What May, that wasn't able to be nominated because it was written for something else, even though it wasn't used for it. And then it just fit into Moulin Rouge like perfection. And it wasn't able to be nominated because they didn't write it for Moulin Rouge. And it's a little sad because it's like one of the best songs.
Which total derailment here. If you like listening to musicals, like while working out or whatever, the Moulin Rouge Broadway soundtrack is fantastic, and it's updated from the movie. So it's like Lady Gaga and other music. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I like the movie. I haven't seen the musical, and
I haven't seen the musical. I just found it randomly.
I like the musical. I mean the movie. I think it's I mean it is a musical, so there is that. I just like, I'm a little bit more of a purist. I'm like, don't fuck with something that's perfect. I think Baz Luhrmann did such an amazing job bringing in songs that you wouldn't have expected, like Heroes mixed with Nirvana, mixed with
Right.
That to me was really more interesting than just throwing a bunch of pop songs together, because he mixed genres of songs.
You need to listen to.
I have it downloaded. Don't get me sad.
Listen before you judge about the Broadway version, because they do this. They do similar. It's just different songs.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, what category do you want next, sir?
Well, we're talking about film and music. Let's go to animated film.
Animated? I know
it's Encanto, obviously.
do we want animated short?
No, we want animated.
Because we haven't seen any of those.
Care about the shorts. No one does.
Ooh. Hold on. Can't find stuff on my own website.
I know Luca, and we have Encanto.
And Flea, Mitchell versus the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon.
So obviously, I think Encanto will probably take this. I think Luca should take it though. That'd be my vote.
You like it that much?
I thought it was really cute.
Okay.
I don't like animation. Let me just paraphrase this. Mike does not like animation.
So I find that interesting because I love the animated movies. And when I saw Luca, I was like, okay, this is almost like it was made for the Disney Channel. It was not the quality I expect from Pixar.
Oh, interesting.
And it's like what you see in their shorts, but not their features. And
Uh-huh.
to me, it was, and since the pandemic started, I've always kind of said that Pixar's been like the redheaded stepchild. They just get pushed to Disney Plus. And they just did the same thing with what's your other one that just opened? Oh, Turning Red.
Yeah.
Everything's just Disney Plus, which I get, but those deserve to be on the big screen. And
Which is really an interesting conversation. Is
but
it a film if it's only on streaming?
I mean it is, but
But
it's
is it?
it's
Or is it a
well,
TV movie?
Luca was the one that I didn't think needed to be on a big screen though, because it's a cute story, but it wasn't like Toy Story quality level, or it wasn't the super sharp animation that Pixar has gotten so good at.
Yeah, I just liked it. I thought it was sweet and I thought it was
Yeah.
simple. I thought Encanto was a little bit much. They go in these stories and you're like, okay, so I'm supposed to believe that this candle is going to give her this, and this guy is living in a door beyond the thing. I mean, and I can go with it. It was fine, but I'm like, I, at a bit much. At a certain point, you're like, what? She turns into a panda? Like,
Yeah, although, okay, so that one, I know girls like of my age and a little bit younger are kind of more the target because it's the 90s and early 2000s pop and all that, and girls and mother relationships and all of that with Turning Red.
right.
But there were some scenes like when she's laying on her bed and sleeping, you could swear that was a little kid, even though she was slightly characterized. You could think it was a little kid sleeping on a bed because the animation was that good.
No, I agree. I mean, obviously, it's not eligible for anything this year because it came out after
Correct. It'll be next year, most likely.
I think it's an interesting conversation as to if you're only debuting a movie on streaming, is that a TV movie or is that a film?
But does streaming networks count does that count as TV even? Because like I told
Exactly.
Jason, I took this afternoon off and I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch TV. And then I pulled up Netflix to watch the first couple episodes of Bridgerton because yay,
Right.
it's back. But I'm not pulling up cable or, anything like that. It's the different streaming networks now. So
Yeah, and it's interesting to me as how that all works and factors in.
right.
And now all the Pixar stuff that did go straight to streaming, I do think it changes and I've had this debate before. It changes the amount of, I don't want to say quality, but it changes the amount of how it lives in you and a person. If you have to go and get in your car and go to a theater to see a movie,
Right.
more important. If you can go home, sit in your couch and click a button, and there it is, you watch it on your laptop. It doesn't really have the same.
No, but it makes it so much more accessible for families too.
It does.
So,
Does.
it's that flip of that coin. Like some of these movies I see in theaters for screenings, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad I saw that in a theater. Most of them, I could sit on my couch and watch that much easier.
Yeah.
So, but you and I are in a different position than most people because we can go to these screenings and not have to be mad if we lost $15 to $30 for tickets.
Oh, right. I mean, I still get mad when
So,
it sucks. I'm at a screening for free. I mean,
oh,
when I went to go see Scream, I was livid. I had free tickets.
I gave you those, didn't I?
Yes, we know you did not.
I gave you tickets to something recently. I don't know.
I know, but I don't think you're supposed to.
No, I could.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those ones I could.
Oh, good. I don't want to make sure. I don't want to get you in trouble. But yeah, so that's my vote. My vote would say I think Lucas should win, but I think Encanto will take it.
See, and I think it's going to be between Encanto and Mitchell's versus the Machine, but that's a Netflix one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a cute movie. So, although I mean, Encanto hit a lot more adult viewers in the feel with the generational trauma and all of that stuff. So, depends on what they're voting on.
So what are your votes?
I said it's a tie basically for me between Encanto and Mitchell's. It could go either way for me.
Well, who do you think is going to win?
Either one. I don't know. I think Mitchell's has actually had a better FYC campaign, at least here, than Encanto.
Oh yeah, Encanto, they didn't do shit here.
No, because it's Disney. Why would they? And Disney is causing their own drama and other things. So I'm curious
Yeah.
if that will play into other stuff.
I don't know.
I don't know either. If people on the Academy will take that into consideration before casting votes.
It's interesting.
Right.
It's actually, I didn't think about that, but it could possibly happen.
Right.
Hmm.
So
let's go to Best Supporting Actress.
Supporting actress, we have Jessie Buckley for The Lost Daughter, Ariana DeBois from West Side Story, Judi Dench in Belfast, Kirsten Dunst in The Power of the Dog, and Anjanou Elise. Is that how you say Elise? Ellis? There we go. From King Richard.
I think this category is pretty much wrapped up. Ariana has won pretty much everything for West Side Story. I think she's going to win. I don't think she should win. I think Kirsten Dunst should win.
I'm gonna say if any of them, they'll probably, if she does not win, it will go to Judi Dench.
Actually, no, it's interesting. Okay, so Judi Dench is the real dark horse. She was nominated for SAG. She wasn't, Katrina Balfe was nominated for SAG for Belfast. If people didn't like West Side Story and they didn't, and Kirsten Dunst splits the vote, Judi Dench could come up the middle because there are a lot of older voters.
Right.
Judi Dench is amazing.
And I mean, as much as I did not like The Power of the Dog, Kirsten Dunst playing this distressed and mentally abused woman, she did a good job at it.
And, her legacy of how many roles. Interview with the Vampire. She could have been nominated for Interview with the Vampire.
Right.
At that age, even. She was so good. I mean, I'm not going to say she deserved. Yeah, I'm not going to say she deserved nomination for Bring It On, but she has one in my heart. I've got the door, Tor.
Those movies are ridiculous, but I agree.
But think about that. She's in a pop culture lexicon. She, Eternal Sunshine, obviously, which we both enjoyed. She was great in that. She was great in a movie that people don't really see, which is called Drop Dead Gorgeous.
I love that movie.
Movie. So good. It's really, honestly, one of those little movies that if you've seen it, you're like, what just happened? It's amazing.
And it's hard to find.
It's hard to find. And it's a cute ass movie.
It is.
Give me my smokes. It's great. It's such a great movie.
Yeah.
But she has been consistent. I mean, and she does weird movies like Marie Antoinette. She did Marie Antoinette, but there's that oh my God, I can't think of what it was. Melodramatica or Melodramatica or that Lars von Trier film. I can see the poster. I can't think of the name. And then, obviously Virgin Suicides. Melancholia. Melancholia, thank you. She had this huge basis of films.
Yeah.
And,
and she does the weird ones too. I mean, loved her in Elizabethtown, and she does the quirky ones because she can.
Right. I mean, I appreciate that. And I think, even in her TV work on Fargo, she does a lot and she works consistently, and she's been a child actor. She's been in this industry forever.
And she wasn't a stereotypical child actor.
Right.
She didn't go down that path.
No, 100% true. And this is, I think, her first nomination for an Oscar. Yeah. So, I mean, it could, if depending on her luck. I mean, she could be the underdog or the race. I don't know. Or, again, Adriana and Kirsten split the vote, and Judi Dench kind of comes up the middle. Right. I mean, it could happen. People love Judi Dench, and and the thing is, what people need to also understand when the voting happens, if you work with someone and they become your friend, or you really enjoyed working with them, even 5 years, 6 years, 10 years ago, you're like, I love Judi. I have to vote for Judi.
Right.
And that's how it is. It may not be the performance. It may be that they love Judi Dench and they love working with Judi Dench.
And in Belfast, she's good in it, but her role is very, very minimal to the story.
Right.
So, and I understand it's supporting actress, but it's just and at the end, they are panning in on her face, and it's this really weird close up. And it's just it ends very odd for me that way. But
well, remember, she won for Shakespeare in Love, and she was in Shakespeare in Love for how long? 6 minutes.
I was gonna say 5 minutes. Yeah.
And she won.
That's
Like it
true.
wasn't even like it wasn't like she won. That was like,
There was no question. Yeah.
and
So
I don't ever count the Dench out.
no, I mean, and with her career, if you look at her career, she's earned it.
Yeah,
Granted, I don't know that this was the best role, but that's not necessarily, compared to some of the others. We'll see.
it wouldn't 100% shock me if there was some spoilers here.
No,
However, if the Academy, if people are like, well, I'm not voting for anything else for West Side Story, and I saw it and it was fine, and I'm going to vote for this woman. Also, because of the fact that the original West Side Story, this is the same category and same character, Rita Moreno won for.
right. It would be
So,
nice to see that legacy come back again.
so they could. I mean, so it's my thinking is, and how I will vote is Kirsten Dunst should win,
Fair.
and DeBosi will take it.
I think that's fair. She
And
probably will.
what about your voting? What do you think, Beck?
I would probably reverse that. I think Ariana would probably win and Kirsten would come up, maybe.
That's what I said. I think Ariana will win, and Kirsten was
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
win.
I had a Death Wish coffee this morning and it did nothing for me. And I'm like, man, if they want to sponsor us and just send me all the K cups, because I need it lately. But, obviously I'm still not awake at what time is it? 4:30 in the afternoon here. So
who do you think should win?
I do think Kirsten should win.
And who do you think will win?
Probably Ariana.
All right, you're the same with me.
Yeah.
So let's go to supporting actor. I think this one's completely locked up, but that's my humble opinion.
Okay.
I'll read the names, my darling.
We have Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Kotzer for Coda, Jesse Plemons for Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons in Being the Ricardos, and Cody Schmidt-McPhee in The Power of the Dog.
I honestly think Cody was always this projected winner for Power of the Dog, and then Coda has just went boom.
Right.
I mean, Troy Kotzer was so good as that dad, and there was that scene where, and you saw Coda, correct?
No, that's like the only one I haven't.
There's a scene with him and Amelia Jones. They're on the back of the pickup truck. He's so good, and I really do think it's been so long since a deaf actor has been nominated or won. Since Marley Matlin, and I just, the movie just left you with such a good vibe, and he was just outstanding. So I'm gonna say Troy 100% is gonna win, and I think the love for Power of the Dog has like plummeted, and I think it was kind of manufactured in some level,
Right.
and so there's that. I mean, Kieran Hines, I think he should be happy he got a nomination.
Right.
I don't think this is his category. Jesse, again, should be very happy he got a nomination. And the problem is too, when you have two people from the same movie, they tend to split the vote.
Right.
Someone's gonna oh yeah, Power of the Dog. Oh, I'm gonna vote for this one or this one. It's gonna split them.
Right.
That tends to happen, and then Troy's gonna pop in.
Now, and I think we shouldn't necessarily, because of the age of the Academy, we shouldn't disregard J.K. Simmons in this.
Yeah, but that movie didn't. I liked Being the Ricardos. I think more than most people. I thought he was outstanding in it, and I thought the woman who was Vivian Vance, I can't remember her name. She was also outstanding.
Yes, she was.
Four leads in this movie were amazing, and I think that the fact that she didn't get one, I think, is a little bit
of a disservice.
A little bit of a disservice. I don't think he would have been as good without her. I actually think she was actually better than he was.
Agreed.
But but that scene he had with Nicole Kidman, where he was talking to her, he just did such an outstanding job. He's phenomenal, and I just don't think that movie has the love that.
I don't think it does from the public, but it might for nostalgia as well as the actors from the Academy. So
I don't know.
I just don't think we should really disregard it.
I think we should. So my vote is Troy should win and Troy will win.
Okay. And and on this one too, like Jesse Plemons, he was good in Power of the Dog, but he was still a very minimal role compared to, granted, again, it is supporting, but I don't think his performance was super great compared to some of his other performances he's done.
Right.
So, yeah, I can't vote Troy because I haven't seen Coda, so I can't do that one for you. Sorry.
Well, you can say, I mean, from what you've known, I mean,
Right. As much as many waves as the movie's been making, then sure, we'll give it to Troy, even though. Eh.
I mean,
So,
I will rewatch movies I haven't seen just from what I'm hearing, but
right.
So let's go to Best Director. I think this one's also a lock, but we'll see.
Best director, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Jane, is it Campion for Power of the Dog or Champion? I don't know. Is it Campion?
I think it's Campion.
Okay. Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car and Steven Spielberg for West Side Story.
I think this is an interesting category. I think everyone keeps thinking Jane Champion has had it stood up since day one.
Yep.
I actually agree with it, but I actually think Spielberg could pop in here. And it's another category where, well, I hated West Side Story. I hate musicals.
Same.
I hated the movie.
Oh, I love musicals, but I hated the movie.
Yeah, but I think people underestimate Spielberg and how much people love Spielberg. Like people think Spielberg has won 100,000 times, and he really hasn't.
No, and it's a lot of it is the name recognition with him. I mean, I went into West Side Story. Spielberg. Yes, I went in. I mean, I hate the original one, so I didn't have high hopes for the new one, and then it was the same exact movie, just longer. So that really didn't, endear it to me.
I was really bored the entire time.
Right. And both of us haven't seen Drive Your Car. And as much as, I mean, of the 3 remaining movies, I liked Belfast, but I don't know that he was the best director for it. And as much as I didn't like Power of the Dog, I think it's going to be Campion.
Yeah, I think Jane Campion has it kind of locked up. I do think there's a spoiler that could possibly happen with Spielberg. If there was a spoiler in this category, it would be Spielberg.
Right.
I don't think anybody else will come in,
I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson, if there's enough people that really loved that film that wasn't us, then maybe.
I don't think a lot of people really care, to be quite frank. I think people, I don't know, I think it's kind of left the hipster crowd. They're like, oh my God, I love Licorice Pizza. It was so good.
I mean, the name alone is stupid, but whatever.
Right? It really is. So my vote, I think it will be Jane Champion should win, and Jane Champion will win.
That is, yeah, I think that's accurate. I mean, we'll know by the time this airs. So next week we'll go through quickly the list of how wrong we were.
I know, it'd be hilarious. So let's go to Best Actor.
Best Actor, we have Javier Bardem in Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield in Tick, Tick, Boom, Will Smith in King Richard, and Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth.
This is kind of an interesting category in some level. I mean, everyone keeps saying Will Smith, Will Smith, Will Smith. I think he has it locked up. I think he will win. I think Andrew Garfield, though, should win.
He deserves it.
He was really good. He had an amazing year of performances. If you look at Eyes of Tammy Faye, if you look at Tick, Tick, Boom, and you look at Spider-Man.
Oh, he's had a hell.
What a fucking year.
Yeah.
And I think that's way more than Will Smith. But people love Will Smith.
Is always nominated. He's always a bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
So
I think if they don't get it, I think he'll whine like a little baby. So they probably have to.
Do you think they care that much?
I don't know. I'm just fucking with people. I'm already listeners I'm fucking with. So yeah.
I think honestly, it should be Andrew Garfield. Should be, honestly.
Yeah, I do. And he could spoil, but I don't think he will. But I think he could. If there is a spoiler in this category, it's him.
Right. I think it would be, I mean, Will Smith, like I said before, he did good, but I don't know if it was award worthy good. So.
And should he have been supporting actor?
I think so, even though his character was the title of the film, which I also think was a disservice to the story because
I
it was
agree.
his story.
Yeah,
I mean, it starts that way, but it is those girls' story.
right.
So, but that's personal, that's my own gripe with it.
I get it. I
So,
get it.
yeah.
So I think Will Smith will win, but I think Andrew Garfield should win.
And I think Andrew Garfield should and will.
Ooh, you think he's gonna spoil?
I do.
I think you're wrong.
You always think I'm wrong. So what's the difference?
And actually, okay, so let's bring this to the most interesting category in the entire race, I think.
Best actress?
That is Best Actress.
So Jessica Chastain in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz in Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart in Spencer.
And here's the interesting thing. This is such a strong year for women's roles. What you don't see in this category is Jennifer Hudson, who didn't get respect. I didn't like the movie, but I mean, I see why she didn't get it, but she could have. Emilia Jones, who I thought was like totally shunned for Coda, she should have been on here besides over Kristen Stewart. In 100 years was 1,000 times better.
Correct.
And
I say that, and I haven't seen Coda, but I say that because I dislike Kristen Stewart so much.
I know.
And that's so horrible. I'm sure she's a nice lady. I'm sure. No. Okay. So I personally have not met her, but whatever.
But this was a very strong year for female.
Right.
And I think it looks in this category because there's no clear front runner. Jessica Chastain has definitely pulled out in front, once winning the SAG award, which was a shock. And then she won another award. I mean, so the momentum has definitely been building for her.
Right.
I thought if I'm rating it by performance alone, she was outstanding.
Eyes of Tammy Faye. Of this list of, I loved Being the Ricardos too, but of this list of movies, it's between those two.
Right.
So Nicole Kidman or Jessica Chastain. That's it.
And people didn't love Nicole Kidman's performance. They're like, well, I still saw Nicole Kidman. I didn't see Lucille Ball. She had the rasp in her voice. When she wasn't on, she was really good. When she was on as Lucy, recreating those scenes, which is very difficult, she was outstanding. Nicole Kidman is such a phenomenal actress.
Right.
I love her. I mean, from Moulin Rouge to The Hours, The Others, Practical Magic. I mean, she's awesome. She really can do a lot. And she has so much range. She will do these weird little roles. She is on par with Meryl Streep.
Right.
And that's really a difficult thing. Currently, I think she's one of our best actresses. And there's very few that are as good as her. Jessica Chastain is one of them. Also, like Saoirse Ronan, she's coming up. She's our generation's Meryl Streep. She's so good.
Right.
Obviously not nominated, but I'm just throwing it out there. But it's a very limited
pool
of these people, of these actresses that are this good. I mean, Sandra Bullock can win an Oscar. She's not there. Julia Roberts can win an Oscar. She's not there.
Right.
If you win this award, it matters as to what you're brought in, and it's stunning. And people think Nicole Kidman has won 100,000 times because she keeps getting nominated, but she's only won for The Hours.
Right. She hasn't won. She's one of those that her name is so well known that you just assume she has all these awards.
Right, and she loves awards.
Right.
And Jessica Chastain was nominated for. She was nominated for Zero Dark 30.
Okay.
And she was nominated the year before that. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the role. Was it The Help? The Help? Zero Dark 30.
So good.
I know she was nominated for The Help, so I think it was that order. And she lost The Help to Octavia Spencer, who had a showier role, but I think Jessica was way better.
I don't know. I mean, Octavia honestly was more memorable in that movie.
Because she had the showier part.
Well, yeah.
A difficult part because it was all an internal, and she was flighty, and her character was so so different, actually. You know, and that's a harder role to pull off if you're looking at performance. But Octavia Spencer, that scene where she's like, I'm not doing it. She closed the door, come like, all right, I'm in. It was great. absolutely brilliant. And I loved her in it, you know.
Right. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie, and I still love it, even with the criticisms that people levy on it.
I mean, there are a lot of, I mean, and I don't know if it's the movie has the issues and the story has issues, or watching and looking back at that period of history and the
Right.
dynamics that are the issues that people have. You know, it's like
100%.
Secret Life of Bees. You still have that kind of dynamic issue. I love that movie
There,
though.
yeah.
It's a
Right.
good movie, but it's still that it's part of our history. And as much as we want to close our eyes and ignore it, it's still there. So
Right. So if Nicole Kidman won, I wouldn't be sad. I do feel like I'm rooting for Jessica because one, she's adorable.
right.
She's
She's so sweet.
such a sweetheart. Yeah, I mean, over the top nice. And Nicole Kidman is too. She's great. When she's campaigning, she's awesome to people and she's very nice and down to earth, quote unquote. But I think here, I just have to, because Jessica hasn't won. This is a role she's been championing for 10 years, trying to get made.
Right. And her transformation in that role. I mean, both of them have somewhat
Of
some
course.
major transformations in these roles, but the
And
Ice and Fairy
physically,
Faye was amazing.
Jessica isn't that diminutive, that small. And she just you forget it's Jessica Chastain.
Right.
Remember Scott turning to me and he goes, it was like almost 3/4 way through the movie. He was like, oh my God. I go, what? He goes, I forgot I was watching Jessica Chastain.
Nice.
But she was that good.
Right.
She was that good. So so my vote and my thinking is Jessica Chastain should win and Jessica Chastain will win.
I agree. The only upset is if Nicole wins, which is not a bad one either. So
they're both outstanding performances. You cannot fault it.
absolutely.
But I think there's enough people that didn't love that movie and didn't love Nicole Kidman in the role that's going to hurt her.
Probably.
And she was out of campaigning for 2 weeks because she hurt her leg.
Which unfortunately does cause issues in this situation.
Yeah. I mean, Jessica really wasn't campaigning either, to be frank. She just was out last week, but she was shooting that Tammy Wynette movie, so she really hasn't been able to do screenings and Q&As and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting, but that was my favorite category. I'm really pulling for Jessica. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And that leads us
To
to the big one.
Best Picture. So we have Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
I really think this award is going to come down to two movies.
Okay.
Is Power of the Dog and Coda. I think everyone kept saying Power of the Dog, Power of the Dog, Power of the Dog, and Coda has just bubbled under, and it's a feel-good film in this time of year. I think it's, and I don't even know if it's the upset anymore since it won SAG.
Right. And you know,
the Producers Guild. That's probably one of the better indications because people at Power of the Dog were pissed it won Producers Guild. And Producers Guild, those are more of the people
who are going to be
voters. It's an overlap with actors and overlap with producers are overlap with the Oscar voting. And so I think that's really going to be indicative of what's happening there.
And I think there could be a slight upset with Dune, as much as you and I both don't like it.
I didn't dislike. I'm still torn. I think I need to see it again.
But there's so many people that have loved it, and so many people are saying it's the best version, and it's this and that. It's a possibility. It has a chance.
I don't think so.
Well, you never agree with me, so
I don't think it has a chance at all. I honestly think it's out of those movies. I think Belfast is, they were touting that for so long as the front runner, and it just is
just not it.
It just never caught on. I mean, not that it's not a good movie. It just did not catch the public consciousness to where it needed to go.
Well, and I think also like other ones like Nightmare Alley, I think they tried really hard to push it, and it's just not going to do it.
No, the nomination is the win for them.
Right.
And that same thing for Don't Look Up. It's the same thing for Licorice Pizza. It's the same thing for Drive My Car. None of those films really have a prayer
compared to some of the other titles. No.
God bless him. Nightmare Alley was not even the best Guillermo del Toro film.
No.
I mean, I thought it was. I mean,
you've met Guillermo like 30 times the past year. So.
Yes, I have.
But it's just not, I don't know. I don't think it has what it takes, but that's me personally.
No. And it's just not there. And then what else do we have? Like Don't Look Up, again, same problem we talked about before with the original screenplay. I just don't think people cared enough.
Right.
And
it's also, and I think that one, it hit, either you liked it or you didn't, because of what's happening in the world still.
Right. It was a little too early.
A little too close, right now, and we'll discuss it in a couple minutes. Like some of the movies coming out, light and fluffy, they're going to do better because people need that right now.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be Coda?
I think Coda should win, and I think Coda will win.
Okay.
But I think people will consider it an upset.
Right. I think honestly it should. It's about time.
Well, and here's the thing. I feel like it has a wave, it has the momentum. Power of the Dog has been trickling down. I feel like they were like a little.
They pushed it really hard at the beginning.
Really hard. I think that was, and I mean, not that they shouldn't have, but it just didn't. I don't know. I think people thought people would love it. I don't think people love the movie.
No, and I don't think.
Oh yeah, this is well shot. It's well done.
Okay, but the story was not. I don't know. Like, who was looking for a story about a cattle herder in wherever they are, Wyoming, who mentally tortured somebody? Who wanted that? Yeah, you?
No.
And like, to me, the topic was so, but I guess I see that with other movies that are coming out now too. Like, I just watched a foreign film, Compartment Number 6, and a Finnish girl's on a train with a Russian guy, and it's, she broke up with her girlfriend, so she's going to see some petroglyphs somewhere. And who thought this was a good story?
Yeah.
Who thought this was needed?
No.
So no, and that's, and I don't hate foreign films. Some of my favorite films are foreign films, but it's just some of these movies afterwards, I'm like, why was this made? Who funded this? And that's kind of how I felt with Power of the Dog. I like Cumberbatch, but that's about it. So
yeah. And I don't think there's any other movies that are strong enough to overtake it. There could be some weird spoiler. I just don't think it will be. I think people will vote for Coda, because if you're going to vote against or not for Power of the Dog, I just think it's going to be Coda. I don't think West Side Story will have that kind of appeal. I don't think Dune has. It's too divisive.
Wasn't West Side Story a box office flop too?
Yes.
Because they were releasing it and they had hoped that it would be theater for the people who weren't able to go to theaters.
Yeah.
But people still weren't going to movie theaters.
Right.
Because of COVID. So it was a total miscalculation. And
Yes.
the fact that they didn't update anything. It's a higher quality, but film's higher quality, younger actors. That's all we got.
Right. 100% agree. So that's my thinking. I think that's how it's going to end. And I think it's logical.
Right.
I think it's logical.
So that will be Sunday. We're recording this on Friday. So Tuesday, when this goes live, everything will be out. So next week we'll go through, like I said, the list and see who actually won and how wrong we were.
It will be interesting because, there could be a lot of disparity between the two. I don't know.
Right.
But I think it's pretty, just seeing Jessica Chastain pull out so much lately, I think that's
it'll help.
Really help. Yeah.
So, all right. So here's my question to you, Michael.
Yeah.
As FYC season is coming to a close, how is it for event wise? Like what comes next for you in LA? Because right now for me, I'm going up to 2 to 3 movie screenings in theater a week, plus the at-home ones. Everything's picking up.
Yeah. Well, right now it's going to be TV Academy season.
Okay.
So now it's going to be now it starts TV season. It goes movies right to TV, and then TV ends June 1st. And then we have,
Okay.
June, July, August, September, and then it goes October, November, December is film again.
So for TV season, does that mean you're going to have a lot of those activations and the events that you get to go to, provided health is all good?
Yeah, there's been some. I did one for How I Met Your Father.
Okay. Even though you didn't love the show.
Yeah, I still don't. And so that was in the Paramount lot, which is really fun. I had a blast. And then there'll be others, obviously. So
Nice.
yeah, I mean they're trickling in. It's not as abundant as they were in years past.
I mean, Paramount, especially here locally, is a little more cautious when it comes to even screenings. Like they cap it at like 75%, whereas other studios don't give a crap. So I find it interesting Paramount was one that you had. So I think maybe the studios are still being cautious with COVID because we don't know. They're predicting possibly another surge, in the next couple weeks and then after spring break. So yay. So I find it interesting, like here, I'm getting 2 to 3 in theater a week again.
Hmm.
And they're mostly public ones too. So it's not just, like the other night was The Lost City, and it was in a 500 seater and it probably had 300 people.
Okay. How was that? Did you like it?
I did. It's like I said earlier, it was one of those fluff ones that people kind of need. You can see Channing Tatum's butt, but I mean, that's not a first, and it's not a bad thing.
Right.
There's a lot of dick jokes. It's entertaining. It's not a thinker, but not every movie
What?
has to be. I know. But my review actually, when this goes live, will be on my site. It was like Miss Congeniality in the Jungle, because she's this beautiful, kind of broken, hardened woman, and she kind of comes into herself. So she's Sandra Bullock in
Yeah.
every role that she's been in. But, and she's walking around as a giant pink disco ball in a sequined outfit. But it was entertaining. It has some good laughs.
Right.
So that'll be in theaters, I think. I think it's in theaters now. But
I think it comes out today.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but we're at that point. I think we need these kind of stupid fluff movies sometimes.
Yeah, stupid fluff is fun.
Yeah, and they know, like this one, they're not expecting awards.
And they can be really good. I mean, those movies like Legally Blonde and Mean Girls, they stay with you. I don't ever discount a film like that, because if it can change your mood and it can make you feel better,
Exactly.
it's totally worth it.
Although I don't know that I don't know that I would put this one on like Legally Blonde or even Miss Congeniality. I'll watch that over and over. They're stupid, they're funny, but I don't know that this is one that I would do that with. And it's one that I think Sandra Bullock wrote and directed too.
She wrote it?
I think so. I think I saw in an interview her say that, which of course she wrote the role for herself. So
Right.
Of course it fits her perfectly. So,
Wow.
yeah. But I mean, it's almost got some slapstick stuff that almost reminded me of like Adam Sandler type movies too. So if that tells you the depth of movie it is.
Oh, I gathered when I saw the trailer.
Yeah, well, I figured. But I mean, Daniel Radcliffe is playing the rich evil guy in this one, and he does it so well.
I love Daniel Radcliffe.
I know he plays these weird ass roles because he can, but he does this one so well.
Right.
So, we have that one, and then I think next week is Sonic and some other stuff. So,
Ooh.
Sonic 2.
Wow.
Yeah. Living the crazy life over here,
It's the crazy life.
Crazy life if it ever gets to spring here.
I know, right? Well, I think that's great. I think that we have a lot to look forward to next week to see how wrong we were or how right we were.
I'm suspecting we'll probably be wrong on several of them, but that's okay.
I'm suspecting I'm always right. So
Oh, to have your confidence, Michael.
there is that.
There is that.
But anyway, we thank you, all 15 of you, for joining us on moviecritics.com. Thank you, New Zealand. Thank you, New Zealand. And we will see you guys next week.
All right. See you later.